guys ready? Is just unbelievable, guys. Like, it feels like a go-kart. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Wealth Wednesdays. Today we're going to take a check at the portfolio, how it's doing. We have some crypto, we have some stocks, Palantir reported earnings, and I also want to touch on a few topics that are kind of hot news right now. The first is the BMW M4 CS was announced. This is a 2025 model. Production starts in July. It'll start at about $123,000. You can optionally add carbon ceramic brakes. Those are about, I think, $7,000 to $8,000. And you can get two special paint colors, which are individual colors. There's a Riviera blue, which is like a light blue, and a frozen Isle of Man green. So both of those colors look amazing. I think the CS looks incredible. I was actually offered an allocation, but they wanted more than MSRP. So I was, I'm still kind of thinking about it. It's black sapphire metallic, so it won't be a special color. It'll have the gold CS wheels and red carbon ceramic brakes. That would be my ideal spec for a CS. But at the same time, you do lose things with the CS. You don't get the parking assistance package, which is the 360 camera. So let's say you're going to the car wash and you want to see what's in front of you, or you're parking on a curb, you want to see what's in front of you. The CS models don't have that. The interior is only black with red accents. You can't get like a full red interior. There's no cup holders in the front center console anymore, but you do have a full carbon fiber center console that goes all the way through. So there are pros and cons to the CS. You can actually code in the CS suspension settings, the CS rear differential settings, the M differential, and the CS transmission tuning. All of that can be coded in, and I think it's available online for like $300. You need a Windows laptop that you can hook up to the OBD port of your computer. You buy basically a schedule of time, like you buy a block of time with this group of online programmers, and they basically remote into your PC and they code that in. It's under $300. I think it's amazing. I actually personally haven't tried it, but I am looking into it. I really think that, if you want to bridge the gap between the Competition X Drive and the CS, buying that software is a good way to go. But all right, guys, let's talk about Wealth Wednesday and the portfolio. So since April, actually, let me check this. Since April 25th, we have deposited $1,105 into Robinhood, and we have bought Palantir, Apple, and Ethereum. And believe it or not, we're up. We were actually up over $80 towards the beginning of this week. It's kind of wavered, and I think we're up about $20, $30, and that's literally in 2 weeks. I'm holding long term. There will be short-term plays later in different Wealth Wednesdays. We'll go into options, but right now what I'm building is a long-term portfolio. Next month, when I deposit some more cash, we're going to invest in Meta, which is Facebook. And one of the big reasons that I would be investing in Meta is that they are pushing open source AI models forward. So they're releasing models, they're known as Llama, and they basically provide a bunch of documentation and the ability for you to actually go and download that LLM and run it for your own purposes, which is basically enabling people around the world to learn about AI and start applying it in their daily life, which is incredible. And I would have never thought that Facebook, Meta, of all companies, would do that. And they're actually attracting engineering talent from other companies that have gone with a more private approach in AI. So I think Facebook will get a lot of good talent coming aboard. People will be utilizing their tools, and they're seen as an open source leader for AI. So I think Meta has a long kind of upward trend that they could go with AI. I also think they're partnering with Ray-Ban on these Meta glasses, which are super cool, especially if you're a content creator. You can get first-person footage, like if you're driving, for example. Guys, tell me if I should get it. I'm thinking maybe. These are first-generation glasses, so they record, they have a camera, you can talk to it. They have speakers, so you can hear audio. But the screen itself is not intelligent, meaning that the screen doesn't display any information. But think about this, long-term, Facebook, has large language models that could run on hardware if they are quantized, and they can run on local hardware. And imagine glasses running LLMs that become your virtual assistant, but also just imagine what happens when the screen becomes intelligent. For a driver, let's say I go to Road Atlanta here in Atlanta. Michelin Road Atlanta is a very famous track. And I tell my glasses, look, I'm in a 2024 BMW M4 competition, or maybe I don't even need to tell my glasses. I walk up to my car, the glasses recognize what car I'm in. The glasses know statistics about me, like my height, my weight. It knows the way that the car has been set up, the suspension, the tires. And when we take the first few laps, which are kind of called like a shakedown, you're learning the track if you're new to it, the glasses can record all of that and then provide you with a driving line overlaid through an LLM on device after capturing what it had seen. So the future is just incredible when you think about devices and AI and how it's going to enrich our lives. And I think Facebook is uniquely positioned, Meta, to capitalize on that. So I'm really, really interested in starting to build long-term stock holdings in Meta as well. All right, guys, I hope you enjoy the rest of this video. It's gonna be a lot of POV driving footage. Let's go. What's good, YouTube? Welcome back. We're getting some driving footage. I just dropped my friend off, and it's about an hour ride home. So I thought, why not get some footage on the way back? Of course, I'm using my iPad to line up my shot. And for those of you asking, this is a GoPro Hero 11 Black, and I use that iPad to set up the shot and also edit the videos. We're in rear-wheel drive. Comfort for suspension and steering, and everything else is in full sport settings. Burbles are on. Valves are open, and ooh, with my splitter, this is gonna be crazy. Oh, we made it. That's amazing. Sounds really nice. So I'm still on throttle here, but you can't really hear much from the exhaust. But as soon as I let off, I know there's gonna be a lot of burble. There you go. Downshift. Sounds really good. With the rasp, sometimes the burble actually helps mask the rasp. So also an intake adds so much just joy to driving this car. So I would definitely put an intake on this car if you guys G80 owners out there, you don't have one. Yeah, you guys are also asking what exhaust and mods I have on the car. So the company that makes the exhaust is called Mastery of Art and Design, MAD. And this is their Fat Boy catless downpipes and their single non-resonated midpipe. I don't have a tune, but as you can see, even with the downpipes, I don't have a check engine light, and that's because I have two mini cats from Big Daddy's garage. So just plug those in. And then I have a SST valve controller which fully opens the valves. And I also have the Mastery of Art and Design engine bay intakes. So not the ones that go in the front grille, but the ones that are in the engine bay. And together, you know, plus the XHP transmission tune, which actually does, you know, affect the sound of the exhaust based on how the car shifts. That's what you guys are hearing. The XHP tune is custom. I've customized it for my car. I can customize it for your cars out there, G80 owners. I do have a link. I'll put it in the description if you want to book time with me to customize your transmission tune. And I hear you guys, so there's HIM decal, merchandise coming soon. HIM decal for here, for the G80 owners that want to put it in their center console, but also on shirts and hoodies. I think this would look sick. So definitely keep an eye out for that, guys. Also, for you guys asking, you know, why do I shift so much? It's because I enjoy the sound of the car. It just sounds so good, you know? Like, why wouldn't you? And you never know, see? Traffic situations happen, you can downshift instead of braking. And the car's cooling system is just unbelievable. The only time I've had a cooling issue with this car is when I was drifting around a tire at like 110 degrees outside with a JB4 installed on a rear-wheel drive G82 with a 305 Nitto tire in the back. So I was hitting redline a lot. Like, we're talking for like 10 minutes of just drifting. And that was the only time I've ever seen the car say that it needed to cool down. Notice there, I didn't use my brakes at all, I just downshifted. That was enough to slow me down to get back into the left lane. And now I'm shifting gears on the way up to just smoothen out the car. When you have a splitter on the car, you're always worried about, you know, bridges and stuff like that where the terrain is uneven. Oh, it always bugs me out. You never know. All right, let's put it in all-wheel drive mode, get as much performance as possible out of it. It is brutal, and my car is stock, so, you know, if this thing was tuned, like, I could only imagine. So that's valves open, that's why it's pretty loud. 5th gear at like 4,500 RPM, now 6th gear at like 3,800 RPM. I wouldn't say that's drone, but it doesn't sound that bad, and you're not going to be at those RPMs for that long. I find myself cruising on the highway in 7th gear, so. Mid-pipe, down-pipes, guys, it's the way to go with the valve controller. You don't need a full exhaust. If you want to go crazy, all right, you know, do something exotic, custom with your muffler, you know what I mean? You can go for it, but we're in all-wheel drive mode. It is faster than rear-wheel drive, it just doesn't sound as good. In rear-wheel drive, the car allows the wheels to fully slip the tires when you have all the nannies off. In all-wheel drive, even in four-wheel drive sport, it just doesn't give you as much slip, and I think that's from cutting the throttle. So in rear-wheel drive, you get basically full throttle control, and I think in four-wheel drive sport and four-wheel drive, you don't get the full throttle control. But it is fast. I have my all-wheel drive as M1 with the stiffest settings. And I usually use that for like the track. And M2 is rear wheel drive with the softest suspension and steering settings, and I use that for daily driving. It's just more fun. Ready? Sounds really, really good. Yo, Mastery of Art and Design, by the way, I shout you guys out, but you let them know in the comments, guys. Tell them that they should send me a new setup. Try out some resonated options. But no, for real, if any company wants to work with me, I'm actually open. And I'll document that as well for you guys, you know, working with companies to do sponsorships of videos. I am very much committed to growing this channel and going on this journey with all of you. So it's not just the driving, but it's also, you know, like Wealth Wednesdays, it's the advice, it's applying all of that. And 3 years from now, you know, who knows where we could be. There's no limit to what we could achieve if we apply these principles, you know, invest the money. Oh yeah. Got a lot of traffic building up ahead, so this is where you actually need to make some executive decisions. Looks like the whole highway's backed up. Alright guys, another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to post every Wednesday an update on the portfolio. In the YouTube channel, I can actually create posts in the community section, and I will show you where the portfolio is at every Wednesday as we go along. Okay, one more thing I wanted to touch on, which is a hot topic right now, which is the protests on student campuses across the country around Gaza. Okay, first of all, I want you to know that the United States, with our Republicans and Democrats, you know, two-party system, they're constantly battling each other, but there are also outside forces which are manipulating both parties. And when you look at Russia and you look at the KGB, which is, you know, like the CIA of Russia, they have been psychologically manipulating the left wing of the United States, which is the Democrats, for 60, maybe 70 years now, maybe more. And one of the things that they've done is they've infected the education system, especially higher education, and they have successfully convinced very naive, impressionable young people to make large-scale conflicts that exist outside of the United States borders almost an identity issue. And what they've done is they've played the left wing so that the US is basically put into a situation where all these internal groups are fighting each other and they don't see the reality of the situation. So Russia is doing that to the left wing of the United States. They're infecting the higher education system. They're actually pushing what you would consider socialism and communism and this identity breakdown of society in the United States. I believe the United States is a classist society. So yes, there is interdimensionality, intersectionality of, you know, race, sex, economic background. I think more so in economic terms. I know how race and sex can come into things, but I really see the United States as, you know, first-class citizen, as capitalists who hold a lot of wealth, second-class citizens as high-earning wage earners, generally technologists who work with, like, you know, Facebook. Like, you think about tech companies and people who are making multiple six figures just on their salary. That I would call like second-class citizens. Third-class citizens are just getting by. They receive government assistance. They're living paycheck to paycheck. They're still United States citizens, but they're essentially the neo-feudal peasant class who are being, you know, manipulated and have most of the joy in their life and the ability to generate wealth taken away from them based on the systems that we live in. And one thing I haven't touched on, I may touch on in a different video, is what I call enshittification, which is basically when you take the United States and you see these technology companies and you see how Wall Street has worked, we have pumped trillions of dollars into the economy through the Federal Reserve. And what has happened is, instead of delivering products that get better and better, because interest rates were so low, products and services, especially digital products and services, were given away basically for free, or even more than free. You were given a $20 coupon to use the service. Think about delivery apps or Uber or Lyft 10 years ago, 15 years ago. And now think where they are now. As they needed to get privatized and as interest rates rose, everything has been squeezed. All the margins have been squeezed. And if you are that third-class US citizen who is living paycheck to paycheck, your entire life is being squeezed. And you may not even understand why that's happening. And that's a big failure of the education system, and I think that'll be another video too. But we're seeing this play out. It's called enshittification. And so what I talk about on this channel is a way to break free of all that, and also to be aware of that and understand why the left wing and the right wing in the United States is the way it is, and who is manipulating our parties internally as external forces. So we talked about Russia manipulating the higher education system in the United States, which is the left wing. Russia also manipulates the right wing of the United States, specifically senators and congressmen who are Republican, by essentially telling them to remain isolationist and to stay out of Ukraine, for example. What they want to do is have the United States turn a blind eye to Russia expanding and committing human rights violations. Trust me, if we do not stop Russia from taking Ukraine, we will be fighting them directly. And the same can be said for China. If we do not prevent China from taking Taiwan directly, if we do not prevent China from taking Taiwan by indirectly providing aid and defense strategies and actually hardware, like actually giving Taiwan hardware, we will be fighting China directly. So there are a lot of outside forces that will try to convince Republicans to remain isolationist, but that's actually our parties being manipulated. So you can see the protests on college campuses as manipulation from Russia for the left wing of the United States. And you can see in Congress, for the House, when they're trying to pass funding for Ukraine, all the blowback, those are essentially corrupted Republicans who have been bought into the Russian right-wing propaganda to remain isolationist in the United States so that Russia can take Ukraine. So I know that was a lot to take in, but I do want to give that wisdom out there so that people can understand these things, Don't just read the news for what it is. You have to go through multiple layers and understand everything at play. All right, guys, let's go. Yo, what's good?
Yeah. Hello?
What's going on, man?
Hey, you left already?
Yeah, I left. I had to drop Parker back to Buford. I'm going home now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just pulled up. I see the cars on there now.
Oh, okay.
Where they going?
They're going to Vegas for the Corsa America rally.
I want to get some pictures, but it's too late. So.
Shit, all right. But maybe this weekend.
Yeah.
All right, bro. Be safe.
All right, bro. Billowing smoke. Is just unbelievable, guys. Like, it feels like a go-kart. You know the crazy thing about the M3 and the M4, and maybe other Beamers that have the shift speed on the lever, is right before a shift you can lower the shift speed. So think about that. Like, you could be in the fastest shift speed setting, and maybe you're in traffic and you're going from first to second. You could lower it right before you go to second and smooth it out, and then go right back up to the fastest shift setting. It just gives you, like, in the moment, more dynamic control. It's kind of pretty cool, to be honest. and it's at your fingertip. Personally, I leave it in the fastest shift speed setting all the time, but I know between first and second gear can be a really brutal shift. So it makes sense to lower the shift speed on that one. Also guys, there is a CS transmission tune, suspension tune, and I think differential tune, and you can get it all for under like 300 bucks. It's a flash. You don't need to unlock your ECU or anything. So I'm definitely interested. If anyone's done that, I'd love to know. I'm gonna think about doing that myself on this car. I do have a surprise coming, guys, too, so remember, should be hopefully in the next month or two. And I promise I'm gonna, for me, myself, you know, for sure, at least, build something that is gonna be just so classy. It's gonna be fast, it's gonna be beautiful. I can't wait for you guys to see it. The intakes almost sound like a blow-off valve. It's crazy. You can hear the boost, you know, basically let off. It's such a fun sound.